Meeting of July 10, 2014. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the Sunshine Law. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Julian?
Here.
Mr. Michon?
Here.
Mr. Peason?
Here.
Dr. Marulli?
Here.
Committeeman Delcour?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bichette?
Here.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Here. I just wanted to start. A number of the members of the board were today went to the wake of Jesse Connard, the son of our fellow board member Sam Connard, one of the pillars of the Hillsborough community, and who passed away earlier this week. I know that the hearts of all the board members go out to Sam and his family, and we wish him all possible comfort in this trying time. I know that pretty much the entire farming community of Hillsborough is there right now, and I know that that's a great source of comfort for Sam and his family. If I could just have a moment of silence for Jesse. Thank you. First item of business, the minutes of the May 8th, 2014 public meeting.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. Michon?
Yes.
Dr. Marulli?
Yes.
Committeeman Delcour?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bichette?
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Yes. Next up, we have an extension request from Glengarry Corporation for their application 14PB01MR. We just take action accepting?
Yes.
Okay, so if we can have a motion to accept the request to extend the time for the board to act upon the application until September 30th, and with the intent to have them present at their next hearing on September 4th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Do I need a roll call for this, Eric? Yes?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. Michon?
Yes.
Mr. Peason?
Yes.
Dr. Marulli?
Yes.
Committeeman Delcour?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bichette?
Yes.
And Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Yes. That leaves us with any business from the floor for items not on the agenda. Seeing none. We then move to the public hearing. We have the one left now from RETS Partners LLC, Kitty Academy, file 14PB08INF. This is block 178.02, lot 421, 716 Route 206. Applicant seeking informal review for proposed major site plan with C-bulk variances for relief of minimum front yard setback, minimum lot area, and some waivers. So this is for a conceptual site plan. Counselor?
Good evening, gentlemen of the board. My name is Mike Ogrodnik. I'm an attorney at Morrow, Saville, Cameron, Brandon, Chalk, and Somerville. We're here tonight on a conceptual plan, site plan. I have Bob Heibel from Van Cleef Engineering Associates, who's going to act as the professional engineer in this application. This is a conceptual application for a 3,500 square foot Kitty Academy child care facility located at 716 Route 206 South, just across the street from the Walgreens. It's a corner lot. It's a signalized intersection. Property currently has a Caldwell Bankers office in the front of the lot. The lot is 1.9958 acres, whereas 2 acres are required in the zone. So unless there's any legal questions, I defer to the engineer to explain the conceptual site plan.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for the record, would you repeat the square footage of the building? I thought I heard.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8,500 square
Thank you.
feet.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Heibel, I guess you need to be sworn in?
No.
No?
It's actually-
Okay, that's right, it's
Plan
just
when I
informal,
go.
yes, that's true. Sorry.
And generally, I don't bring a concept plan here,
Mhm.
but there is what I call a threshold variance that I want to talk to you
Okay.
about. Once again, this is the property at the southwest intersection of 206 and Raider Boulevard, with the traffic signal at the intersection. And the real estate office, this is the existing plan. The real estate office has existed there. It's 4,100 some odd square feet. And there's a driveway access that goes out to Raider Boulevard, which is a right-hand turn only. There's an island in Raider Boulevard. And it's an access for right turns onto Route 206. Part of the application would be to do a mirror image of what Walgreens did in Raider Boulevard and actually create a full access out to Raider Boulevard by cutting the island. In doing that, we could have right turns and left turns. I'm sorry, where's the?
Oh, it's that
You
one,
just have to speak
is it
louder.
that one?
No.
No, Bob, that doesn't really work. They're all, it's all broken except that one right there.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Well, what Bob's doing is
It's okay.
It's okay. So what the applicant would propose is to create a driveway directly opposite the Walgreens driveway, which comes out to Raider Boulevard. And that would allow the applicant to either make right turns out to go back to 206 or to make a left turn to go on to Raider Boulevard. And then associated with that, the applicant would propose to put some parking and a child care center for an 8,500 square foot kiddie academy. And there would be some play area on the south side and on the west side. This is a unique lot in that just to the west of this is actually Greenfields Lane, which is a private road which goes into the Huntington Park residential condominium, which is about over here on the so actually there's 2 front yard setbacks. There's the front yard setback from 206, there's a front yard setback from Raider Boulevard, and there may or may not be, I don't believe so, but your planner does, and that's okay. There may be a front yard setback also from Greenfields. But once again, there is no right-of-way there, so if there is a setback, it's a little difficult to measure it because I'd be measuring from the curb line. The uniqueness of this is this property is in the GB zone. In the GB zone, the front yard setback is 50 feet, 50. If I go across the street to Walgreens, that's actually in the GA zone. And then if I go north of the GA zone, I'm in the town center. Both of those have 10-foot front yard setbacks maximum. So where I used to come to the board and say, well, we have to build the building back further, and the Walgreens building is actually back further than the 10 feet. In this case, and this is the threshold variance, what we would propose to do is to put the building, and I had it at 20 feet from the front yard setback. In talking to Kitty Academy today, they'd actually want 25 feet because they want a sidewalk along that side of the building. So that setback would be half the required setback. It would be 25 feet from the right-of-way line of Raider Boulevard. Now, Raider Boulevard is a 100-foot wide right-of-way. 206 is a 100-foot wide right-of-way. Those dedications came partially from this property a while ago. That's why this property is slightly under 2 acres, the requirement. That's one of the 2 variances. We have 1.99 acres versus 2 acres. So that is what I call the threshold variance. And the reason is because most child care centers want to be a minimum of like 8,000 square feet and hopefully 10,000 square feet. This is actually the smallest building that Kitty Academy would want to put on this particular property. Absent getting a variance for the front yard setback, there's actually not enough room to put this building on the property and still have an adequate play area around the outside. We could actually move the building 25 feet closer to the residential lot, but then there'd be no play area. So that's why I'm calling this a threshold variance. There's a couple other waivers that we would seek. We did get reports from both Bruce Rydell and from Bill White. One of the waivers that we normally seek is to have 25-foot aisles rather than the 30-foot aisles. In this case, Bill White, and we would go along with this, he's suggesting that we have a 30-foot wide aisle directly in front of the child care center because there's a lot of traffic there and for safety purposes. So we would adhere to that. So he wouldn't seek a waiver for that particular aisle. Most of the other comments in the township reports go to a site plan. As far as the landscaping, we know we need to provide porous pavement for the storm drainage and all of that. And certainly we're not here with those type of details tonight, but we'd certainly come back. So once again, it's the front yard setback from Raider Boulevard that I believe is the variance that holds the key to whether or not this application goes forward or not.
Having had the opportunity to speak with the board planner, he indicated that it was his opinion that there are 3 front yards as well. Perhaps it's an issue of dispute. Mr. White also, and I'm paraphrasing his report, also spoke to the issue of some sort of water quality basin, detention basin of some sort, and didn't see the accommodation on the plan, but of course these are conceptual. We have no idea what's intended. I would simply let the reports for Mr. White and myself stand on their own. They're rather thorough for a conceptual review. And I would agree with Mr. Heibel that really it is the board's call whether to enforce front yard setbacks on the 2 streets that we're talking about, Greenfields and Raider, or just the one. And the board's pleasure in that regard so that a decision can be made by the applicant whether to proceed or not.
Just one comment in regard to the storm drainage. This would be the same thing we did a year or so ago for the JK design. What we do is when we have these small sites where you don't want to keep putting stormwater detention basins, we've utilized porous pavement underneath that, and we did receive approval from both this board, the county, and the DNR Canal Commission for JK, and that would be the same type of storm drainage operation that we would propose here when we came back for a preliminary and final site plan, if we get that far.
Particular area would suggest that the porous pavement would have the same effect here as they would elsewhere in the township.
That would be one of the things we would have to do. We'd have to do a soil log during that application, just like we did on any application.
Mr. Bernstein, anything? No, board members, questions?
JK is a quarter of a mile from it, maybe.
Yes.
It's pretty close proximity to what was done at JK Design. JK Design just down the street, less than a quarter of a mile.
And they would also engineer the soils for the site. They need to modify the soils.
They looking to relocate their operation now, or is this a second location they're looking at?
I know. I should actually walk around and stand up. And I didn't represent them, but obviously the board approved a site for Kitty Academy at the intersection of Valley Road and 206. That site started construction. I watch it, and then it's been abandoned for the last year and a half. Yes, they somehow split up, and the property owner, Mr. Burlant from Ritz, is here and would know more of the details. So I don't believe, Robert, that the one on Valley Road would be built. At least it wouldn't be built by this particular.
Correct.
Why don't you just tell them who you are?
Nope. Robert Burlant. I'm a member of Retz Partners, LLC. Kitty Academy, I think originally had a lease with them. My understanding is they had some type of disagreement regarding costs and lease terms, and they've actually terminated that. So they no longer have any interest in leasing it, that property. I will tell you, and I think we've all driven by it, there is a sign that says for lease. I did call. It is available for lease. So even the owner has confirmed it's available. Nobody has a lease agreement on it.
What's the hardship waiver from the flood hazard permit for DEP? Says here, please note that our flood hazard area repair during the buffer rules is being accepted via this application.
I don't think that's this application, Neil.
You might, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then I saw the,
Okay. Here's the good news. We don't have a floodplain or a flood hazard area.
there's a stream like across the street.
Yeah, it doesn't come into this property.
That's okay.
No.
But does that stream like go under Raider and is it over there?
It may be. Once again, I didn't do the Walgreens. No, zero.
So they looking to locate from the present address in the 206 location? State, aren't they on Striker Lane right now?
We're talking about the existing one.
Not that I'm aware of. I apologize. I'm not familiar with that one.
Isn't that a Kitty Academy? Across from like Powerhouse Gym?
That's actually the one we talked about. I actually got the approval. That was on one of the Larkin lots years ago, and it was a Kitty Academy. I don't think it currently is a Kitty Academy.
Is that the one across
Yes.
the highway? It's a Bright Horizons. It used to be a Kitty Academy. They lost, I guess there was, it was sold. There was a group of, don't hold me to this, when we're here with the formal application, we'll be able to testify exactly. But my understanding was there was a franchise owner that had roughly a dozen Kitty Academies. He then sold it, and Bright Horizons purchased all dozen locations. So that is no longer a Kitty Academy.
I get 22 last
So I guess they're looking for our opinion on this.
Yeah, I mean, the question, as Mr. Heifel said, is the setback issue. As you can see from the picture there, closer to Raider Boulevard than the specification for the zone. And, you know, it would be.
In my opinion, considering the area, I don't have a problem with it. It's, Kitty Academy in the past has been a good neighbor, so I wouldn't have a problem with it personally.
Where would the play area would be? I can't.
Yeah, the play area,
It seems like the lot line is like a red line.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the play area would be on the south side and on the west side. We wouldn't put any play area between the building and Raider Boulevard.
Now, if
Flip,
Building?
you mean to put the building? No, I actually tried that. I couldn't then fit the required parking anywhere close to it. In other words, I tried to rotate the building at a 90-degree angle. Yeah, it just didn't work.
We weren't doubting.
Other board members?
Any concerns about the intersection? The left-hand turn?
Well, that's the other thing, is you'll be actually creating an intersection across Raider Boulevard, across a 4-lane road. You'll be creating essentially an intersection, not that it's got that kind of traffic, but because this new access will face across the access for the Walgreens Mall.
I think you already have that going
Yeah,
down.
there is one there.
No, you don't have anything on.
No, you don't have it on the other side.
Right only.
Yeah, here's the current configuration.
Yeah.
There's the Walgreens, and then this comes out, and the island is there. That's actually a very difficult turn. You actually can't go 90 degrees. You got to go about 130 degrees. You got to watch the crick in the neck, because it's difficult to go that far and still see the traffic. So that's a weird angle that's at.
No, it is. No, I wouldn't say, I mean, if you were going to build this, you'd have to do what you're proposing, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, it being that now you'll have the access to this place directly facing the access to Walgreens. So, I mean, it's sort of, I mean, if Mom wanted to go from the drugstore to the Kitty Academy, straight across, 4 lanes.
Yeah, but you got people doing that anyway, right? Out of Walgreens, making left.
Well, they don't go 4 lanes, then, yeah, they do, and then they make a left, maybe they do a 3-lane, I don't know. I mean, you're right, you have people coming out of there making a left turn, that is true.
Now you got them taking a left the other way too, so it'll be dramatic.
That's what you're you're adding is the left in the other direction, was what that adds to that mix.
Is there like a certain time of day where you
Yeah, the
get
time of day, right.
traffic picking up and dropping off versus?
Well, it'll be when the parents are going before when they come back from work. They care.
What is it? Yeah, there's a restriction on 206 with, the other, daycare where you can only turn at certain times.
I mean, right now, the problem is, and the cars, you can build these, as the board knows, and put the signs up no matter what you want to do. But people come out the existing driveway, and although you're supposed to only head south, they don't. They go north.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's a fatal flaw, I'm just saying that's, I mean, the setback is the technical thing. For me, I think the practical thing is the traffic, because we all know that's a pretty busy place. So, that's all good consideration for the site plan, aside from that. Because, I mean, personally, I agree with Greg about the setback. It's not a big deal to me, given the area and all that, but,
It's not affecting the sidewalk, so it really doesn't have an effect on the public.
yeah.
So, I personally don't know how it fits our master plan or what we want for the area.
No, it's a small business, it's fine. I mean,
I mean, it's also property that was Monday through Friday operation, so Saturday, Sunday traffic that you have coming out of Walgreens or morning in Walgreens at 8:30 is probably
No, the biggest traffic is the rush hours.
Yeah.
When parents would be both dropping and picking up kids and people also, work. That would be the biggest concern. I agree, it's not a weekend issue. And rush hours doesn't exactly correspond with the high school, because the high school is in early and out early compared to.
And that would be directly across from the buildings there. Right.
Yes.
So it just fits in there.
If is there something that would be different about this if you weren't worried about frontage with the private road? Would you do something differently?
No. I mean, that may turn out, I'll speak again to Bill and Bruce, and obviously it's their decision. If that turns out to be a variance, that turns out to be a variance. We're about 45 feet. I scaled it from the cartway of Greenfields. I don't think you measure from the property line, and there is no right-of-way line, so I would measure it from the cartway.
Okay, but it wouldn't alter your plan.
No.
You want the side yard for play anyway.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
My sense is the board isn't too worried about that. This is a variance, I don't think we're that worried about it. They can decide what it is technically, and then we'll hear it at the time. The front yard is the one to Raider is the more significant one. So, I'll start from the left. Rob, any other objections or concerns?
No, Bob, can you just go over again how the gateway, how this property would transition to the one across the street, to the one next, and how that may have an amicable design
Yeah.
to sort of run along? That's where I'm kind of...
Yeah, starting at Amwell Road, you have a series of lots, I think there's 8 or 9 of them that are actually in the town center zone, and that's the maximum of 10 feet. And then the remaining lots, maximum, that's the building has to be 10 feet. Yes, right. And then the rest of the zone, the GB zone, is all the way to Raider, and that's in the GA zone. And once again, you have a 10-foot. And then you go across Raider, and it jumps from 10 feet to 50 feet.
So far out of line with the continuity of the other zones.
Yeah, now, listen, the Walgreens Mall is not going to be, it's new, so it's kind of set its own style too. Now granted, that's a board of adjustment, special exception, et cetera, that was done a couple years ago. So it doesn't conform anyway. If anything, it's got to get more of the look of the other stuff that's kind of in the middle of town. So no, I'm not, Dan, any objections or I can see anything fatal flaws? Greg, I know you said you could. So it's not like we take votes, but
No, the consensus appears at the moment the board does not have an issue with a potential variance regarding front yard setback.
Right.
Obviously, the applicant needs to be aware that depending upon the application and other professional and other considerations, this is not necessarily a guarantee that the board will ultimately approve an application with a 25-foot front yard setback.
But I do think that the sense of the board is we're always more concerned about the water issues, so of course you're going to be showing
Right.
us how you handle the water.
Yes.
And whatever traffic.
And the traffic, right.
This too, that'll be acceptable.
Good. That's exactly why we came tonight.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Oh,
I do have one quick question. I don't know if the board has a preference. I know Kitty Academy prefers not to have a board-on-board type of fence. They typically use an aluminum fence, which has an open slot. Their feeling is they don't want the kids to feel trapped. They want to be able to see through it. I actually have some pictures of some Kitty Academy locations. Maybe I could just pass it around. actually, I'm just walk over here. I'm not seeing that. Also kept the building closer to Raider Boulevard versus flipping it, moving the building over and having the playground here. So we figured then anyone driving on Raider Boulevard is gonna see the playground equipment. They prefer, Kiddie Academy prefers it to kind of be tucked away, a little more private, but yet with the open fence so it's not trapped. So I just wanted to kind of give the explanation. You know, we always have that option if we had to, sliding the building way over and putting the playground here. But they're concerned about safety and privacy for the kids as well.
Is there a reason that you bring this up? Is there an ordinance that we have that? Okay.
No.
There's a design standard about fencing, is that it?
Well, perhaps the applicant is talking about the ASD, Architectural and Site Design Overlay, which pertains to the TC, the GA, and the GB zone districts all.
So does it mean anything about the fence?
Yeah, I don't have the specifics on the fence, but it's entirely possible that that's something that would have to be considered by the board. But I'm sure that'll be taken into consideration.
Yeah, this, yeah.
And I'm sure.
No, I understand that the purpose of pushing this thing closer to the road is to allow the play area to be away from the road.
Right.
The question is, it's so horrifically objectionable for it to be closer to the road than the ordinance. So far, we're shrugging our shoulders pending seeing your final plan.
Right.
And we get that it's better if you're gonna have this thing here for the kids to be in the back. As far as the architectural and site designs, I mean, I haven't memorized them, so I don't know what it's.
Neither do I.
So, I don't know what it says about fencing, but I'm sure we'll have a report on that when we get.
Yeah, yeah. The details of the fence, the height, the location, that'll all be shown on the site plan. And then the board will have an opportunity to review that.
Sure. Yes.
Given the concerns expressed by board members that I heard, I'm thinking that perhaps a traffic expert might be useful.
Oh, yes, we're absolutely going to have a traffic expert.
Absolutely, for that, yes, absolutely.
We've done similar concepts.
Oh, no, we have.
Where you have roads, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of Amwell, where next to the post office there, we proved
Yeah.
that facility that then put the entrance and exit right across from where the bagel place.
Absolutely, it's not
Thanks, Bill.
fatal, you just need to put it on the record, I think. And,
Yeah.
The situation on Amwell was a touch different than the situation here, in terms of
there's a light there.
that.
No.
Not where the intersection.
Oh, I know what you mean, right, the other one, right.
And that,
right,
if you
right, okay.
recall, was a
Post
large
office, right,
issue.
Oh,
which-
it's a big discussion,
Which is slightly different than the situation here, based on, there are potential options available on Raider that may not have necessarily been available on Amwell.
Really?
Like
Okay.
a four-way stop.
Oh, right there?
Which you couldn't have done going in and out on.
Right, well, you could have that there,
Close to the traffic.
it is,
Well, that's what you're gonna have the traffic people take a look at.
Well, that's-
But the situation is slightly different than simply two entrances from a shopping mall and a commercial building on a four-lane road. It's not a place where the traffic is entering and exiting at an intersection per se, which you're now
well,
creating.
no, it's not the same road, exactly, no. But that's why it's good to get that testimony, that report and that testimony, so, and review it properly on the record for this specific application.
Yes.
I just wanted to express that we're practically concerned about things like water and traffic, and, moving this slightly out of the lot is actually less a concern for us. That's the general consensus.
Was there like any impervious issues? I mean, I know you talked about.
We're not exceeding the allowable.
You're not.
No, we're not.
So that's more about the soil.
It's a matter of how to take care of it.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Okay.
Good. I thank you very much.
Very much for your time.
Thank you. Just happen to point out some communication that sustainable land use pledge, just simply by distributing it, Bruce, that's a thing you have
My
to do?
understanding, yes.
Okay, so that's an FYI, and Bruce distributes that so that we can continue to qualify to be a sustainable, for a sustainability certification. There's a notification from the Somerset County Planning Board on updated county master plan elements. Bruce, did any of them matter to Hillsborough?
Quite frankly, Dr. Cerisi, I haven't reviewed them yet. The clerk's office has the CD, so I'll be reviewing them.
I think actually they're just saying that there's going to be documents you can review that will show you what they changed. Doesn't actually tell you what they changed, so. Next up, notice of application for NJDEP flood hazard area permit Route 206 bypass. Okay, that's nice. Hopefully the NJDEP won't hold it up. And Gibraltar Quarry, KTC Solar, DNR report. Oh, so you have a report from the DNR Canal Commission?
Yes, I would also indicate to the board, for the board's edification, that they have asked for an extension on their application through the end of this year.
Do we have to act on that? That's
No.
kind of withdrawn, or they'd have to start from the beginning, right?
I don't think they would have to. If you recall vaguely, on this application, there was a question of where to place, how to place,
Recall vaguely?
when to place. Well, those of you who
Very
were,
clearly.
Yeah, we recall rather clearly.
for those of you who were here versus for those of you who did not sit on, I don't believe that neither Bob nor Neil were on the board at the time this came.
I was here.
You were.
No, yeah.
I was here.
Oh, we walked that site.
That was the-
This is an application that we have basically told them to go back and try again. And Mr. Schatzman had indicated a desire to extend, just for the board's edification and for the record, the request for an extension came after the last meeting in May. The time frame would run before tonight's meeting. And they have agreed to an extension, and they've also agreed not to indicate that the failure to have granted it was somehow an approval for failure to go forward.
Do we have to vote on anything now? No, good, okay.
You're all
That's
smart.
good. So, in any case, this should be,
This may or may not come back sometime this year.
yeah, well, I can see the first words from the DNR Commission. The application is incomplete. So, I guess they have more work to do. And you have your copy. New COA regulations released, public comment period begun. So that means that these are draft regulations?
The regulations have been promulgated in the New Jersey Register. There were some issues actually between the ones that were originally put out and the new ones that were put out. The comment period is through the end of August, I believe, and the assumption is that the council will approve something at its October 2nd meeting. And then, I will tell you, the fun has already begun. The Fair Housing Council has already filed a motion to enforce litigants' rights with the Supreme Court of the state, claiming that COA did not follow the Supreme Court's mandates in following the rules relative to the allocation. And the state has asked for an extension and was asking for a significant extension to file. The court granted it, but a significantly shorter period than the state was looking for. So it is possible that by the time COA rules on these, this court may have ruled on whether or not, in fact, the whole thing was following the court's mandate in the first place.
And what's the League of Municipalities?
The league is opposing, the league right now is basically not happy with the current numbers. They have joined Fair Housing's request that the court enforce its decision.
Don't we hear it every time?
Well, you do,
Broken recording.
but yes,
No,
but.
this is a slight variation. The only reason I
Yeah,
can tell you
it's moving
is
along.
I sat on a recent panel of the State Bar Association regarding this. This is the first time that fair housing has gone to the court even before the rules have been promulgated. Usually they wait till after before they contest them. They are contesting the fact that the rules in and of themselves do not comply with the court's decision, and therefore the court should not let COA adopt them in the first place and make them adopt what the law requires, which is to follow the round 1 and round 2 methodologies. More to come.
More to come. Yeah, it does go round and round, but where it ends up has profound effects. It's,
It always seems that we never get a lower number.
well, that's what people like the Fair Housing Council are trying to do. They're trying to break everybody's
Well,
back.
actually, there is a concern from the Fair Housing Council people that a number of places that should have a higher number don't, and that some that do have a higher number may not necessarily should have that number as high as they have it. So, in defense of Hillsborough, it's quite possible that number may come down. They are not advocating that everybody, they are however advocating that, you know, there are more than 300 municipalities in the state of New Jersey who have an obligation of 0 for this round. Some of them obviously because there was nowhere to put stuff, some of them because of various other reasons, but there are concerns, and one of the discussions we had at the seminar was the issue of how do you take into account rehab property, not rehabilitation of units that need to be rehabbed, but properties that are not being counted right now because they are not residential in nature, but do have a residential potential component, i.e. abandoned factories and other commercial establishments that are not necessarily here, but in other municipalities across the state.
Wow. So you're right, stay tuned, it isn't over yet.
And the legislature is also looking at additional legislation.
Okay,
Bundle of joy there.
yep. All right,
I'm gonna
so,
call now.
we just need to do one thing, which is that we have, no activity for our scheduled July 4th business meeting, so we just need a motion to, cancel that. July 24th, I say. I thought I said July 24th. Do I have a motion to cancel that?
So
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting canceled. That means our next meeting will be September 4th, 2014. We have Glengarry on that one, so we look forward to seeing you with the beginning of the fall. And till then, have a good summer. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.